Hi, my name is Cheryl Spangler, and welcome to the good side of crypto. And in this video, I'm going to try to explain in 7 minutes or less what is slippage. And I had this like aha moment last night because I have been frustrated if you've ever used MetaMask and things don't go through and buttons are de-highlighted and you're constantly trying to find that perfect lowest number. And if you trade on an exchange, you know exactly how much it's going to cost. And I'm someone who likes to know exactly how much it's going to cost. I don't like it to be iffy. But then I had this moment where I was like, okay, let me give an analogy, a few analogies where this totally makes sense. It's just the word is different. So I'm going to do a quick screen share to show you a couple examples of my world in real estate and how it's basically called slippage when you don't make, when your expenses, let's just put it this way. When your expenses on a rental home are more than what you're collecting in rent, you have like a slippage, which is a percent decrease or increase of what you're expending versus what you're receiving. And it's basically the same in stocks and the same in crypto, but for some reason I was confused when using MetaMask. So if you're like me and you are kind of new and you were confused, I want to give you a couple examples and show you how I had a massive slippage and constantly have massive slippages in real estate. We just don't call it that. We call it expected an escalation clause. Okay, so let me just give you an example here. Let me just tell you an example of a real estate deal I just did where we knew that we were one of 13 people. And the guy told us we were going to be competing against other people. This is no different than you on Uniswap using your MetaMask to do a quick transaction. You're basically on the blockchain saying, I want to do this transaction. I want to swap this for this. In this case of this example, I want to swap PBR with Ethereum, and I want to pay as little as possible. That is the same as basically in real estate saying, I want to buy this home for, in our case, we were buying the home for 200 and what did we offer? We actually offered $275,000. And we didn't want to pay in dime more than that, right? But we knew there were other people competing, just like there are other people competing on the blockchain. And in real estate, what we do to make sure that we win is we do something and fill out something called an escalation clause, an escalation addendum. An escalation addendum basically says, it's a document that says that you're offering them $275, but you're willing to pay $295 in increments of $1,100 more than what the other best offer is. So don't be confused too much, but basically it says, we don't want to pay more than $275, but we're willing to pay a slippage of $20,000 more than what we're offering, but only in increments of $1,100 over the highest asking price. That is what an escalation clause is. And it kind of clicked when I was hearing a conversation last night. Because I'm like, okay, I don't know why this is so foreign, because it's just the word is foreign. And so we get confused. But basically, it is the same thing. When we buy real estate, we offer a certain price. When you swap in Uniswap a token for another token, you are told right here that I'm going to sell 249 PBR and I'm going to receive 708. Well, I'm going to receive 0.0016 ETH worth $708. And you really just want to do that. You don't want to pay any fee, at least on Coinbase, at least on KuCoin, at least on every exchange, central exchange. You know exactly what the fee is. They tell you right before you do the swap or the trade, how much it's going to cost to do this trade. They tell you how much it's going to cost to do a sell. They tell you how much it's going to cost, if anything, to transfer you to your bank. But in the case of Uniswap, you are told what you're going to get if you do the swap. But the next step is the slippage, and not the slippage, but it's the amount it's going to cost you. And if you want to win on the blockchain to get this swap done faster, you're going to have to increase your slippage. Just like in this document, if we want to win this home, we had to say, okay, we are willing to pay $20,000 more than what we offered in increments of $1,100 over the highest bidder, but not to exceed, the $295. And so that's kind of what this document says. And I don't know if you hear that background, but it's literally kids next door screaming. But in Uniswap, you basically say, I have 249 PBR. I want to trade it with ETH. And you go up to this little gear icon. So this gear icon would be the same as you creating an escalation addendum. You would be saying, okay, what am I going to do to win against all the other people on the blockchain wanting to do maybe this very same swap right now? And so you click on the gear icon, and it says right now by default, well, I have mine set by default, 1%. I'm literally willing for Uniswap to increase the cost of doing this trade by 1% only. Well, that may not win it. It may be 25 other people trying to do this same swap. And in that case, I would have to increase this to sometimes 4%. And then it says straight up, your transaction may be the front runner. So that is a good thing. The other day, I actually had to increase it to 8. So what I like to do is increase it until if I don't see this word, then that means that I'm probably going to be low on the totem pole in doing the transaction, and I may end up having to pay more. So if I just say 1.5, it still says that. If I say 1, it basically doesn't. So I think 1 is not going to get it for me. 1.5 will get it. And I also changed my default minutes to 10 because I don't want it to sit and try for 30 minutes. In fact, I'm going to change it to 5. In fact, I'm going to change it to 3 because if I can't do it in 3 minutes, don't do it. I'll do it later. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I'm willing to pay 1.5% more in slippage to get this through. And let's see what happens. It's not going to work probably because I don't have a lot of ETH right now, but I just want to see. It says, okay, the price impact, I'm doing a 1.5% slippage. I'm going to receive a minimum of this, the liquidity provider, 0.74 PBR. It's probably not going to go through. I know it's not because I don't have enough Ethereum because you got to pay the slippage with Ethereum. It's like, okay, $130.59 is the estimated gas fee. It's constantly changing. Sometimes what I do is this, just to play around with it. I go into this edit, and I go into the edit, and I say, okay, not only do I want you to put me low priority, because I'm not sure what the network's doing right now. I go into advanced options. Sometimes I mess around with this max gas fee. Let's just say I only have $20 in my $20 of Ethereum in my MetaMask. I will change this to say, no, I'm not going to pay your $150, but I'll pay you $20. Well, it says max fee too low for network conditions. Sometimes you can mess around with it, like say 80. Oops. Basically, 160 wins the deal according to this, where it's comparing based on who's on the network right now. But I'm not going to do that. So let's just exit out and say reject. Well, luckily, I don't have my MetaMask set to auto take this. I'm told what the fee is going to be, and I can reject it. Basically saying, I said I would do above or below a more or less than what it's going to take to do this swap. I said I would pay more, but now that I know the fee, I'm not going to. So basically, that's what it is. It's the difference between what you want and what you're going to get. But the only thing is, in cryptocurrency, we specify a percentage, and we just don't know what that's going to be until it prompts us on the screen. And then we're like, okay, accept it or decline it. When an order is executed, the corresponding security are sold or purchased at the most favorable price that is available at the time. So in a landlord situation, it makes total sense to me, but I just don't use the word. Slippage is the difference between the total property expenses and the amount the landlord can recover from a tenant's rent. So it's just like real estate, except in real estate, we know exactly the money that we're going to spend. We know exactly the fees, and we nitpick the crap out of it. But in crypto, it's this big question mark on how much it's actually going to cost you to do some kind of trade, because it's really based on, is there anyone out there trying to buy what you're selling? I hope this gives you just a little tiny bit more insight. I'm sure there's 1,000 questions, because I still have questions around the slippage plus the gas fee totals a certain fee. But basically what you're saying is that you're willing to pay more, and you will be prompted for what that increase is, and you have to decide. It's no different than when you go to sell a stock and you say, sell this at market value. Well, at 9 o'clock when the stock market opens, you're going to get it whatever that price is, and it may be more than what you actually want to sell it for. That's going to be your personal slippage.
The sun is shining, I knew it would. The world's a playground, I'm in the clouds. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it